Meyiwa Murder Trial resumes in the North Gauteng High Court this morning. It last sat back in September. Silindelo Masikane, who was in the house when Meyiwa was killed, is expected to be back in the hot seat for cross-examination. Now, proceedings are expected to wrap up in 3 weeks' time. But now there's another issue. The lawyer for accused 1 to 4 is appealing for funding from the public. Tobani, of course, says that if his clients cannot give him financial instructions, he may be forced to withdraw. Silindelo Masikane is at court, of course, and joins us again to take us through this matter. Slee, what's the very latest coming from where you stand?
Well, at this point, we're waiting for court proceedings to resume at around 10 a.m. this morning. But like you've said, that there have been a number of developments since the last sitting in September. We saw accused number 2, Bongani Ntanzi, applying for bail back in October. And we also are seeing the latest coming from the lawyer representing accused 1 to 4 around the possibility of yet another delay in the trial if he cannot get financial instructions from his clients. He's appealing for some crowdfunding, saying that if he cannot get these financial instructions, then he may be forced to withdraw. But to just unpack the latest as well as what we can expect from court, we are joined by legal expert, that is Marius Du Toit. Thank you so much for your time this morning. Let's just start with that letter that was distributed on social media, Marius, from TT Tobane, saying that he at this point does not have financial instructions. He's appealing to the public to fund accused 1 to 4, saying that if he cannot get the funds, then he may be forced to withdraw. Just what kind of implications could this have for the trial?
Well, it could definitely delay the trial, or it could, of course, result in the attorney himself withdrawing as attorney of record. And we know if a new attorney has to come on board, let's assume the accused does not have funds and they need to apply for legal aid, whoever comes on board would have to firstly have a look at the transcripts of the evidence that was adduced up to now, would have to go through all the dockets, including the mystery docket that was only disclosed later on. And that would without a doubt cause a delay in the trial, because after having studied all that, the person would have to consult with the accused afresh. So it's definitely not ideal that the accused withdraws in the middle of the trial, but it's also detrimental to the accused, because if you have a new attorney halfway through the trial, he does not have the same feeling for the witnesses that have testified. He doesn't have the same opinion. He might have a different strategy, and it might prejudice you in the long run. So it's definitely not ideal, Slee. And it's interesting to see that this attorney has called upon the public to help with financial instructions. I think if we have to be fair to this attorney, this matter has been delayed on many occasions. And normally an attorney takes instructions for a period of time. You would say to the court, Your Worship, I have instructions for the 2 weeks or the 1 month that we are on trial, because keeping in mind that to run a trial like this is really, really costly. So if the matter is delayed and delayed and delayed, of course, we don't have a bottomless pit of instructions. And what that would mean is eventually your client's money can dry up. And if it dries up, well, you are within your rights to say to the court, well, listen, my relationship with my client is actually a contract. It's a contract where I'm being paid and I will perform. If I'm unable to be paid, how can I perform? Hence, I have to withdraw as attorney of record. So it would have a detrimental effect on the trial. It doesn't look from the letter that they will withdraw immediately. But what they are saying is they are laying a basis for, listen, we might have to withdraw later on.
Maybe then let's get back to the trial itself. We know that we are expecting the state's third witness, Silindelo Masikane, to be back in the witness box for cross-examination. Could you maybe unpack for us what the defense will try to uncover, or what they will try to show the court in terms of their line of questioning to Masikane, who, of course, we know was in the house when Meyiwa was shot?
Yeah, so first and foremost, this witness will essentially testify about the identity of the accused and, of course, the surrounding circumstances pertaining to the murder itself. Where the witness identified one of the accused as the perpetrator, of course, you as an attorney would have to negate that identity, and you would attack that by saying to the witness, listen, you've not seen this person before in your life. Now you come to court, and the only reason why you point me is because I'm the accused in the accused doc. You never attended an ID parade, so the identification in itself is of very little or no weight. Had this witness indicated from the word go that I can identify the accused, then a proper construed ID parade should have been held, and this person should have had the opportunity of pointing at people, the accused. And if he did not point them, well, then we can say, well, listen, your recollection of who actually perpetrated the murder is severely lacking and you have no credibility. Other than that, it's of course relevant for putting factors in the court's domain of what the circumstances were, maybe what the clothing were that the suspects were wearing at the time, whether all of them wielded firearms, whether some of them wielded knives, whether they were having any hats on. And even identification of clothing could be relevant when other witnesses come to say, well, listen, I identify accused number 4, and I recall he was wearing a hat with Fox logo on, for lack of a better example. And now suddenly we can tie that up with the other witness who also said it was a similar identification. So this witness will definitely pertain to that. It will definitely pertain to the events of the day. But more than that, you can't really say about that.